Hello, this is Mr. B, and I'm going to go over our STEM project, our new one right here. This is using Google Sheets, and we are going to be able to write expressions and equations in Google Sheets and get Google Sheets to do our math for us. This is going to be the exciting part because we're going to make it do all the hard calculations so that we don't have to do that. So here's what it looks like when you enter the assignment right here. You'll notice at the very bottom of the page there are two tabs down here. One is the how to, so this is going to be what we use to just kind of go through like the basics of how do we work this, where do we type, and then this is STEM project. So this tab down here, when you click it, it looks like this right here. This is where you will actually start taking over, and this is your assignment right here. So let's go back to this sheet right here. You'll notice that there are some directions and some pictures, and then there are some blank cells here that you see. This is where you will be typing in your expressions right here. I'll give you some guidance with a little yellow box. Your expression goes here for perimeter and here for area. So whenever you've got some directions that say write the expression that, and then it asks you what it wants you to do, that calculates the perimeter, then you will want to find the perimeter cell and type an expression there. Actually, we're going to be typing an equation, and I'll tell you why that is later. You'll notice that when you click in another cell, if you start trying to type in any other cell anywhere else, you're going to get a message that says that you do not have access to edit this document, because I've locked this document so that we can only write and type in these cells that are necessary right here. So you'll notice a little lock down here on that tab. So both of these are locked so that you can only type in those certain cells. So let's talk about what we're going to do to make Google Sheets do all of our work for us. It's going to be great. All right, so our assignment here is to calculate the perimeter and the area of this pool right here. So the pool is a rectangular shape. We would need to know the perimeter because there is a distance around this pool that's covered in concrete right here. So sometimes the owner or the builder definitely needs to know the perimeter of this pool. And the area is all of the flat space that covers this. And definitely the owners would definitely need to know the area of this because they buy a pool cover and you cover the pool for the winter time or for certain seasons. So let's find out how to get Google Sheets to do our perimeter for us. Well, we're going to begin with an expression. So we need to know what is the expression for perimeter. Well, here's a rectangle. We have length and we have width. We don't know the numbers. We just know L is going to represent the length and W is going to represent the width. So how do we write the expression that represents the perimeter? Well, perimeter is the distance around this shape right here. So it's this way going around, and then you go around this way, and then this way, and then this way. So what we need to do is to have a length, whatever that number is, we don't know, so we're just going to write L. And then we would add the W, that's the width. So we've gone here, and then we've gone here. So that's halfway through. And of course we have another length from here to here, and we would add the other width right here. So we've got two lengths and two widths. So we could write the expression like this. We can also readjust those and move those around so that the lengths are next to each other here and the widths are added together. And that's the commutative property. We could write that one also. We can also make it a little bit easier by just saying, well, I'm just going to multiply the length by 2. That way I don't have to add those two numbers. And I'm going to multiply the width by 2. And our expression would look something like this. This is the most simple form of the expression. And there's other ways to write the expression as well, but that's the most simple. 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. This is what we're going to write in Google Sheets. However, there's one change. We're not going to use variables. We're going to use something else. So what we'll want to do is to go to our perimeter cell right here. You've got it selected. And then up here where you see, let me get my cursor over here, fx. fx. That is your function equation, and then we're going to click in here. Right here is our formula bar right here. So you'll notice my cursor is blinking in the formula bar. You want your blinking cursor in there, and we're always going to begin, whenever you want Google Sheets to do calculations for you, you begin with an equal sign. Because we're using an equal sign, this is now an equation. An equation has an equal sign to it. An expression is only a math statement. So we're going to type the expression over here on this side of the equal sign. Excuse me. And we want 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And we're going to do that. We're going to start with 2. We're going to put a multiplication symbol. Now the multiplication symbol is Shift 8. It's that little star. That's what we're going to use for multiplication. And instead of the letter L, we're going to use the cell right here. So where it says length, that cell right there, I just clicked on it, and it automatically input the address of the cell, which is E13, row 13, column E. Now you can type in E13, or you can just click on it, and it automatically puts that in there. Now, I want to come back up here. We want to add something, right? So plus 2 times, now we want the W. Guess what we're going to do for the variable W, for the width? Yes, that's right. You can type in the cell address, G, what is it, 13? G13, or just click on it, and it automatically puts G13 in there. We're done. Hit enter. Now the answer, it's giving you the answer automatically. So we don't see the formula that we just plugged in. Now if I click on this, you do see your formula up here, so you can change it if there's mistakes. But here we see the answer is 0. Now why is it telling us 0? Because the length and the width are both blank spaces. And so it thinks a blank space is a 0. So it's saying, well, the length is 0 and the width is 0, so the perimeter has to be 0. But what if we were to put in other numbers? Such as, let's say the length was, I don't know, 5, just make up some numbers, and 3. Enter. Perimeter, bam, 16, it's done. You can put in any numbers you want, and it automatically updates it immediately. That's pretty cool. So now it's going to do your work for you. You just put in the equation, and it will actually calculate. Let's do the same thing for area. Now here's what I'd like you to do. Just pause this video for a second. You figure out the area. What would you do? You want to do length times width. How do you type that in? Just pause this, give it a shot, and then come right back. Okay, let's do area. We know the area is length times width. So I want this cell right here. I want this cell, E13, times this cell, G13. Remember, we don't use the variable letters, but instead of the variable, which is a letter, we use a cell address. So the cell address itself. Don't type in 12.5. So let's come down here to the area. This is where we want our answer to be, right? That's where we're going to type our equation in. So I'm going to come up here to the formula bar. I'm going to click up here so I have my blinking cursor. Start with, what's the first thing we start with? Equal sign, because we want an equation here. Now we're going to type in our expression for area. It's length times width, so I need the length. Don't type the number in. Don't type a number. You're going to type the cell address, E13. So you can just type that in, E13. It doesn't even have to be capitalized. You could type it in right there, and then we want to say times the width. So I say times, that's our star, right, our asterisk, and our width. Now, again, you can type in G13, or you could just click right there and be done with it. Hit enter, and that's it. That's all you have to do. The area is automatically calculated. So we can change the numbers, and every time we change the numbers, the perimeter changes and the area changes by itself. There we go, 6 times 8, 48, and then the perimeter is 28. Okay, so that is the basics. Now we can answer some questions right here. What is the perimeter and the area of a pool with these dimensions right here? We could just, how hard is that? Just type in 32.6 right there. And here 18.35. Done. And so for our answers, we can type it. We can look up here for the answers and type in, that's 101.9, and that's 598.21. And of course, this is going to be square feet. But we're just going to type the numbers in right here. Okay, now you are ready for this project. So go into the STEM project, and here we start out with level 1 and 2, which are very basic. It has a statement, 20 more than x. X is our variable, and x is this cell. So this is the variable cell. You'll want to come here, type in your equation, equal sign, and then your expression that means 20 more than x. And you're not going to use the letter x as a variable. What are you going to use instead of the letter x? This cell right here, H10. And you can type in H10, or just when you get to that point, click on that, and it'll automatically update it. And that's it. You'll be finished. Then you can put any number in here for x, and it will tell you your answer. So for each one of these, you're going to type in that expression, use this cell address as your variable, and that's it. Level 3 and 4 are a little bit more difficult. So you might have a couple of different things you need to do, multiplying and adding or division. If you are using division, like down here it says quotient, you're going to need that symbol right there, that symbol that's on your keyboard underneath the question mark. You'll need that to show division. You'll need to type in, sometimes you're going to need to type in parentheses. Here's level 5 and 6, a little bit tougher. Now we're getting some real world problems, and you'll have to read this. Here are the cells that you will use for your variables, and then here you'll have to type in the equation that means the total cost. And then here are questions you can answer right here for that you can use Google to do all the work for you and answer that. And lastly, here's another one. This is level 5 and 6, same thing. You're going to read this, try to make sense of it. You're going to write your expression here, and then this is your variable, the number of hours. That's the thing that changes. And in this case, I also made a table right here so that you can answer these 3 questions. If they rode for 5 hours, how many miles? If they rode for 12 hours, how many miles? 50 hours, how many miles? And then lastly, level 7, 8. This is our pet fish sale. You've seen this before. Here is your total cost. So it's type an expression that calculates total cost. That means you want to go to total cost, and this is where your equation will go. And then these are your 4, these right here, these are your 4 variables that you will use in your total cost. And then just answer some questions. That's it. That's all there is. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.